Contestant tonight, Charlie Cheatham. Weight lifting. Weight lifting. Charlie Cheatham.
I can't do this. This is too much for me. This is more than one person can handle. Have you ever found yourself asking yourself those questions in life? If you're probably honest, we all have at some point or the other in our life. The pressures of life, stress, fear, insecurity. These are just some of the pounds that go into the weight of the world. So what do you do when you find yourself with the weight of the world on your shoulders? Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmaster, and most honored guests. The weight of the world on your shoulders. We're probably all familiar with that saying in life or heard it one time or the other. But what does it really mean? Can one person really have the weight of the world on their shoulders? Well, I'm not the president, but in 2011, I had that weight on my shoulder. You see, I didn't place it there. And I didn't sign up for a volunteer to carry this weight, but it was put there. And each day, I would struggle to carry this tremendous weight on my shoulder. Every day, I saw people walk right by me, and I would have hoped that others would have helped me carry this weight. But people would just smile and say hi and go about their day. Why wasn't anyone noticing this huge weight that I was carrying? Couldn't they see it? I don't think so. Why wasn't my family, my friends, even my coworkers aware of this huge weight that I was carrying on my shoulders? Come on, I'm only just carrying the weight of the world on my shoulders. Can I get some credit? But I'm reminded of Greek mythology, and I'm reminded of the character Atlas. See, according to the stories, Atlas and the Greeks were at war, and the Greek gods defeated the Titans in battle. Atlas was a Titan. And his punishment for losing a battle was to hold up the celestial spears of the universe on his shoulder. In modern day stories, it has him holding up the world on his shoulders. And you can probably see the statues from around the world symbolically showing a man slouching over with pain and suffering as he held the entire planet upon his shoulders. And I thought to myself, is this my fate in life? Am I being punished for losing the battles in my own life? Maybe it was for not standing up for what was right in the face of adversity. Or maybe it was because I constantly listened to the voice that taunted me, saying that I would never, I can't, I won't, I couldn't. Or maybe it was all of the bad decisions that I made in life coming back to haunt me. Regardless, I was weakening mentally, physically, and emotionally to keep up this facade. But as every breaking point or difficult situation comes in life, there comes a breaking point. I was with my fiance at a social function, and as we waited in line, there was a father and son in front of us. And the little boy could be no older, about 5 years old. And as he looked at all of the food that was laid out on the table there, he just became silent. The lady on the other side patiently waited for the young man to make up his mind. Seeing that it was taking him some time, his father placed his hand on his shoulder, and he said, "Speak up, son. A closed mouth doesn't get fed." And the little boy smiled at his dad, and he told the lady, "I want everything." A closed mouth doesn't get fed. Now, I heard this saying many times growing up as a kid, but this time it seemed to take on new meaning for me. You see, just like the little boy who stood there silently, waiting for someone to tell him it was okay to select what he wanted, I realized I was the little boy, waiting for someone to place their hand on my shoulder, telling me to speak up and say what was wrong with me. From that moment on, my perspective regarding my silent behavior changed for the best. You see, just like the saying, how could I expect to eat and be nourished and grow if I didn't open up my mouth? And that's the same with life. There's healing and growing taking place when you can get the negative things from the inside outside. It's like the true definition of purging. So that day, I felt the weight slowly being lifted off of me. There's a quote by author/poet George MacDonald, and his quote says, "No man has sank from the burden of today, but it is the burden of tomorrow added to the burden of today that causes the burden too much for one man to bear." So as I journey through life, and I go about life now, and when I see the worries of tomorrow approaching me, and when I see the regrets of my past sneaking up behind me, I'm not going to stop in fear now, because now I know that there's others around me, and all I have to do is ask for help. Mr. Toastmaster.